Zewe and welcome to Medill Newsmakers. Today, we're talking all things wedding. I recently got engaged and I was shocked at all that goes into wedding planning. Food, a dress, flowers, a venue, photography, invitations, cake. The wedding planning industry is one of the largest industries in the country. According to wedding planning website The Knot, the average wedding in 2018 cost over $33,000. The average wedding dress cost $1,600. The average florist costs over $2,400. And the average wedding cake costs $528. Invitations will run you more than $300. And those pictures that will last a lifetime, those are almost $3,000. Weddings are a huge expense, so it's important for brides to know what they're getting themselves into. It's important to compare vendors, budget, and think about what you really need on your big day. I went to the Chicago Bridal Expo at the Marriott O'Hare to see what vendors are offering brides this year, and I met up with a local bride to get some insights on the planning process. Take a look. The March 10th Chicago Bridal Expo was full of excitement. The expo featured everything: a celebrity appearance by Monty Durham from Say Yes to the Dress, and of course, bridal fashion. Bride-to-be Victoria Ernsberger was there looking at invitations and registry items for her upcoming shower.
My favorite part of wedding planning so far has definitely just been all the excitement and love we've gotten from our family and friends. That's been amazing, and we're really appreciative of that. Trying on dresses has been a lot of fun as well. I found my dress, the first one I tried on was the dress, so that was really exciting. And of course, taste testing, cake, and all of our food from the venue has been the best part, probably.
Ernsberger also liked looking at the bridesmaids' dresses because she thought they fit her wedding aesthetic.
Definitely more of the vintage kind of vibe going on, but I really want it to be soft and romantic. Kind of love all around, you know?
There was lots of love at the expo. As you can see, there's a lot brides need to think about when planning a wedding. One way to help sort through it all is to hire a wedding planner. Today we're talking to wedding planner Christine Janda, who owns Christine Janda Design and Events here in Chicago. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Colleen.
So how did you become a wedding planner?
So I started my career in advertising, actually, where I managed TV shoots. So I was a part of a project from start to finish, the creative process, as well as managing clients. And that was such good training of dealing with budgets, process, and just seeing something all the way through. So it was a really good training ground and a natural progression to events.
Cool. So what exactly do you do as a wedding planner?
So it's such a tricky term because we do so much, and I think people really define it in multiple different ways. My business is structured a little differently, that we're planners, designers, and florists. So we really do provide our clients with a one-stop shop, a really all-inclusive planning experience. So we take the time to get to know our clients. We're then able to really build a beautiful custom wedding that could only be theirs. It couldn't be anyone else's. And then we do all the logistical planning and work. So from finding the perfect vendors, negotiating contracts, and then because we're also designers, we're in charge of all production, and we really become producers the wedding weekend itself.
So what is the difference between a wedding planner and a wedding coordinator? Because that's a term I've been hearing a lot recently too.
Yes, that's a really great question because it could be really confusing. So the way that we define it is a wedding planner is someone who's really making a large impact on your wedding. So they're working with you on a longer period of time and working alongside you to really mold the wedding itself. Wedding coordination is after you've done mostly all of the work on your own, and we are there to execute. So it's to still impart our expertise, but to just more troubleshoot and make sure that everything you've planned on your own is strictly executed.
So tell me about your floral designs. What is your floral design style?
So our floral designs would probably be described as being very natural and organic, nothing too contrived, almost as if it's just very popular right now. If you picked up a wild bunch of flowers that were very, after many hours, carefully curated, that would be what our designs are described of. Our design aesthetic for floral and just event design as a whole is just usually described as being very personal with layers and layers upon details.
So speaking of aesthetics, are there any trending themes for weddings this year?
Yeah, I would say a really great trend that I love seeing more and more of is just clients breaking a little bit away from tradition, still celebrating those important wedding traditional moments, but really showcasing their personality and what makes them this beautiful, unique couple. So maybe the dinner is taking slightly different shape than a traditional salad, entree, dessert. Maybe they're having hors d'oeuvres or family style, and they're just kind of breaking away from tradition a bit to really show their personality.
So speaking of traditions, have any brides expressed interest in emulating Meghan Markle's wedding or other royal weddings?
I will say Meghan Markle's floral backdrop as she entered the church is something that I've seen lots of photos of. I would say celebrity weddings, much like fashion on the runway, trickles really slowly into everyday life or everyday weddings. So maybe it's a hairstyle or a color palette. It's not so much about like showing a picture of the royal wedding, but more so a little trickling effect of something that we've liked and seen millions of subliminal, photos of on people and whatnot, and then having that be in today's real life weddings.
So what do you think couples tend to overlook when they begin the planning process?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that they tend to overlook that the wedding is one day, often one weekend that you're celebrating, but you're planning for 6 months, a year, sometimes 2 years. So you really need to enjoy that entire planning process because that's so much time and your wedding is one day. So I think it's really easy to get stressed and get caught up in the minutia and the details, but you have to remember why you're getting married. It's to celebrate your love and life with your partner. And so it's just really good to remember to enjoy the entire process and then of course that wedding day.
Well, thank you, Christine. That is really helpful and a lot of good information.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll be joined by a wedding photographer to learn the do's and don'ts of capturing your big day. And we'll take a look at the season's most gorgeous wedding dresses.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Welcome back. Today we're talking all things wedding, and every bride's favorite part of her big day is the dress. Whether you prefer white or ivory, mermaid or ball gown, there is a dress out there for every bride. I went to Beholden, a bridal store in Chicago, to see some dresses in person. I even ended up buying my own wedding dress. While I can't show you my dress, I can show you the Beholden experience. Take a look. Beholden, spelled B-H-L-D-N, is one of Chicago's most popular bridal stores. Their focus is price-conscious dresses that still offer a wow factor. Brides can make an appointment to try on dresses. They're paired with a stylist who knows all about bridal fashion. Caitlin Kyle is one of those stylists.
I actually do wedding calligraphy as well. I have a small business, so I just love all things bridal, and there's nothing kind of more exciting than being a part of that moment for someone's special day and helping them find their dress.
Caitlin and I looked through Beholden's large collection. There were so many dresses, it was hard to choose, but Caitlin knew this season's trends.
I would probably say right now here we get a lot of the flowy kind of tulle, a lot of movement with the florals and appliques in there, just anything that's really kind of flirty and girly. With a lot of lace and plunging necklines, I think right now has been the biggest seller.
The mother of the bride can also find their dress at Beholden. Florals and pastels are definitely in. Beholden has dresses in every color, but some are more popular than others.
I would say burgundies have been big right now. Pretty much any shade of pink or red, but I would say out of the top, definitely burgundy.
You can visit Beholden yourself at 8 East Walton Street. After the break, we'll talk with someone who has seen dozens of weddings and knows what works and what doesn't.
Go you Northwestern, go Northwestern, break right through that line. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back. Today we're talking about all that goes into wedding planning. Brittany Beckus is a longtime wedding photographer in Chicago. She's captured over 200 weddings, so she's seen it all. Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
So tell me, how did you get into wedding photography?
I got into wedding photography after kind of doing things in my previous career in advertising, but I mostly got into it because I love photographing weddings because there's so much emotion into the day. It's such a happy day. People have so many different emotions that are going on, and it's so fun to be able to celebrate with people on the most special day of their lives.
So is that your favorite part of being a wedding photographer?
I would say, yeah, just that, and that it's always changing. The days are always so different, and you get to meet so many fun people and celebrate with them and their families when they're the happiest. I mean, who doesn't want to spend a day with people when they're their happiest?
Exactly.
So there's just so many things that go on throughout the day that are just so fun to capture, and I just love being able to do it.
So after you've captured all the moments and you go back and edit, what is your editing style?
Every photographer has a different editing style, so it really depends on what couples are looking for. I personally, because I'm a hybrid shooter, meaning that I shoot not only digital but also film, I edit so that all of my photos look like they were shot with film. So the trend right now in terms of film photography is a very light and airy style. So it's like very bright and romantic and clean and very timeless. So that's the editing style that I apply to all of my photos.
Cool. So what is your favorite moment to capture?
I would have to say my favorite moment is the first dance.
Okay.
And I feel like the reason for that is it's just like the couple has been able to just enjoy the day, they're relaxed, they're calm, they're just enjoying each other, and you can just tell that they're really focused on one another and not everything that's going on. And I think some of the most beautiful, natural, candid moments come out of that because there's so much emotion in their faces and they're just being so happy and enjoying everything about the moment.
So talking about enjoying the moment, has a couple ever asked you a weird request or had something unique that they wanted to get a picture of?
I wouldn't say that I've had any like really strange requests. Like, I mean, of course there are different requests for different types of couples based on that, but because I find that a lot of couples hire me because of the work that they see in my portfolio, they're pretty much asking for things that they've seen. Now, obviously there are crazy requests out there, like I want a photo of a dinosaur chasing me and things like that. But I think every couple picks what a photographer that shoots how they want. So I personally haven't had anything like wild or outrageous or anything like that. So my couples usually just hire me for the work that they've seen.
So have you ever done a destination wedding or any really uniquely themed weddings?
I have. I've photographed a bunch of different destination weddings, from like being in Grand Cayman to being in Mexico to being in Puerto Rico, a lot of the Caribbean beach weddings. So those are always so fun because it's less about just the day and more about the whole weekend for everybody. So you get to celebrate with everybody throughout the weekend, and it just results in a lot of like fun moments, not just centered around the day.
So is there any advice you would give a couple who's trying to choose their wedding photographer?
Yeah, there's a few things that I would say. I would say one, definitely get on the phone or meet with them in person so that you can get a good understanding of them and their personalities. Especially as a bride, you spend so much time with your wedding photographer, so it's so important that you really get along with them and that you like them as a person, because again, the day is so emotional, it goes by so fast, and if you aren't vibing with your photographer, I think it reflects in the photos and it kind of changes the day for you as an experience as a bride. So I think that's so important. I think it's also really important that you make sure that you love the style of the work that your photographer creates. There's so much going on during the day that you want to be able just to relax and be in the moment and let them create beautiful photos for you. So I think being able to just sit back and trust them and trust their process and what they're doing to get the end result is really, really important. And lastly, I would say the other big thing that's really helpful when picking a wedding photographer is making sure that you look at a full gallery of their work, because in this day and age, like, everyone is posting their highlights on social media and on their website, and we take so many photos on a wedding day, so it's really hard to know exactly what your final gallery is going to look like. So you want to make sure you look at a wedding photographer's complete gallery so you can see throughout the day, this is everything that they're going to capture and this is what their strengths are, and maybe these are things that they're not so good at or don't prioritize, so that you understand what your complete gallery is going to look like.
So if anyone wants to look at your gallery online, do you have a website they could go to?
I do. It's just www.brittanybeckes.com. And then you can also find me on Instagram, is where I'm most active with posting current work.
Great, well, thank you. As you can see, wedding planning is a lot of work, but a lot of fun. That's all the time we have for today, but we'll see you next time on Medill Newsmakers.